post your residency. How did you get in the field of bariatric surgery?
I thought bariatric was just another form of GI surgery.
Boss, you are a first generation doctor. What's the hardest part about it?
You don't get anything on the platter.
So what would be your advice to the new JRs that these are the non-negotiable basic procedures you must know?
So if you think that your anatomy is weak, don't become a surgeon.
I have heard a lot from DNB institutes that the JRs do not get a chance to work on the patient because the consultant's already there.
ये डॉक्टर्स ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन इसलिए दिया बिकॉज इनको कॉर्पोरेट वालों ने टारगेट दिए होंगे. रबिश.
So if you want to open up your own private practice, how much do you think the investment will cost?
If you ask me, would you want to open a new center for bariatric, I would say no.
What's the field of surgery and AI? How do you think this collab will happen?
The AI will come in instrumentations.
DNB examiners are basically there to fail you.
No, I'm an examiner myself, so I'm not there to fail anyone.
What is the salary structure of a bariatric surgeon? Hey guys, welcome to the Nachiket Bhatia show. We have a very special guest with us today. He's a bariatric, metabolic, laparoscopic and robotic surgeon with over 25 years of experience. He's the director of bariatric minimal access and general surgery at Max Smart Super Speciality Hospital, Saket. He completed his MBBS from CMC Ludhiana and DNB from Sri Gangaram Hospital, Delhi, and trained at Cleveland Clinic, USA and Covadian Institute, Shanghai. Recognized as a surgeon of excellence by the Surgical Review Corporation, USA, he has performed record bariatric surgeries in one day and trained surgeons globally. He runs the Mera Vada initiative to provide healthcare support to the underprivileged. Let's put our hands together and let's welcome Dr. N.C. Peters. So welcome Dr. Peters to the Nachiket Bhatia show.
Thank you so much.
Boss, it's an honor to have you here. You have such a commendable career. Boss, I want to know everything about your initial beginning. How did you start? The day you entered MBBS, choosing surgery as your specialization?
Honestly, when I was a young child, I had a lot of interest in electronics and I was poor in math. And my father always thought that I would probably become an electrician or a plumber. Or he thought, probably he'll do something electronics. And he wanted the elder sisters to become a surgeon or a doctor. And somehow they were never interested. And so if I say that I was really interested in medicine when I was a young child, probably no. But as I grew, as far as I remember, I thought that probably this was made for me. That's what I always think, that God chose me. It was not me choosing surgery. God chose me to be a surgeon. And so I got into MBBS in CMC, which is CMC Ludhiana. And at that point of time, I think CMC was among the top premier colleges in India. CMC, AIMS and PGI JIPMA, these were the few 2, 3, 4 top colleges. And I finished my MBBS there. And post that, I came back to Delhi. My elder sister was getting married, so my dad wanted me to come back. And at that point of time, we had, domicile system. So we could choose your post-graduation based on that. So because I had done my graduation from Punjab, so I could not get into Delhi domicile and I could not choose MS. And that is the time where DNB had, I won't say just started, but sort of started the national board examination. So, but I am actually very grateful because I got my DNB in Sir Gangaram Hospital. And at that point of time, I think that was one of the hospitals in Delhi, private institutes, which was doing extremely well. And we had fantastic surgeons. Dr. K.C. Mahajan, who was a professor emeritus, Dr. G.D. Goyal, Dr. T. Singh, Dr. Samir Nandi, Dr. Anurag Krishna. These were, so I'm not throwing names, but I know these people as brilliant people and brilliant humans and brilliant surgeons. So I was trained there, and there I got trained for my general surgery. I also got trained for my laparoscopic surgery. Dr. Pradeep Chaubey was there. And I did my DNB under him. And fantastic guy, fantastic surgeon, and gem of a person, brilliant human. He taught me my basic laparoscopic skills. And post that, I did my fellowship in laparoscopic surgery, which is also called the FMS. And then I started flying. And initially, I worked in a few smaller hospitals. I also worked for a very short time in metro hospitals in Noida. And then a few small clinics. I think one was Helvetia Clinic in GK that time. And in 2001, I think I joined Max Healthcare. And that time Max was, just starting. It was just a small center called Max Med Center in Panchsheel, N Block. And that's how I started my career in Max and stayed there for about 10 years. And yeah, so that's my initial part of my life. And so that's how I started.
Boss, tell us about your residency days.
So residency days were different that and extremely different that time. I remember I used to go to Gangaram. I had a scooter and I used to travel all the way from the Ridge Road because I used to stay in Saket. Used to travel about 6:37. Winters, rainy season, sun, dust, no, used to just go there, reach there about 7ish, change into scrubs, start my day very early because my teachers that time, they started OT at sharp 8. And 8 means 8. It was not 8:10, it was 8. And we used to start at OT that time and we used to operate till 4, 5, 6, then rounds. And then every third day or fourth day sometimes we used to have our duties, which were 36 hours. So I go today morning, I finish tomorrow evening, come back and start a day afresh again. So this so-called post-duty of that, a few surgeons talk today, and my residents say, "Sir, मेरी duty थी, कल मैं जाऊँ." So I feel, so duty, so what? But those were my days, and I had some brilliant surgeons doing surgeries there. I remember, every name that I can take today is I've learned something from them. Not something. I think I owe my life to my teachers. And that's one of the reasons why I teach today. I believe that, I can't say thank you to my teachers. I can't say enough thanks to them. So my gratitude towards them is me passing on the information and passing on the knowledge that they gave me. And that's one of the reasons why teaching surgery is my passion. And so that's what I do today.
Post your DNB, post your residency, how did you get in the field of bariatric surgery?
So I was trained in all GI surgery. I was trained in vascular surgery. I was trained in laparoscopic surgery. And at that point of time, I still remember we were in Max that time. And I used to do all cases. We were doing not just general surgery, but I was doing all GI. I was doing onco, I was doing pediatric, I was doing urology, and I was doing everything except endourology, which I was not doing. So we were doing esophagectomies and all GI complex surgeries and everything. And at that point of time, bariatric was just, starting as a field. It wasn't really established field. Not very many people were doing bariatric surgery that time. And I remember I could name probably just a few top 4, 5 surgeons. Dr. Mufazzal Lakrawala, Dr. Shashank Shah, Dr. Mahendra Narwaria, Dr. Singh. These were 4, 5 names who had started. Dr. Dhore Patil, who was supposedly the father of bariatric surgery in India. So these were 3, 4 people who started bariatric surgery. And then Dr. Chaubey started later in, I think, 2003, 4, 5. So I was not really too keen to do purely bariatric. I thought bariatric was just another form of GI surgery. But when you start doing bariatric, you understand that it's not the surgical part, it's the whole paraphernalia regarding that real obese patients. Their mechanism of coping up other diseases, their comorbidities, their anesthesia, the instrumentation, the talk that you get while operating these patients, their post-operative care. So it was different. So that really got me interested. And like if you do a gallbladder surgery, you do a gallbladder, you remove it, patient says bye-bye, thank you, gone. Bariatric surgery, you're almost married to the patient, right? You see a life change. And that really got me, really intrigued. And I thought that this was something I would like to pursue. And so so this was out of my interest that I thought that, okay, let's do more of bariatric because it was changing lives and it gave me happiness.
Boss, you are a first generation doctor.
Oh, yes.
What's the hardest part about it? I have a complaint. 90% of you have still not subscribed to the channel. So before moving forward, please go ahead, press the subscribe button and click the bell icon.
So number one is that you don't get anything on the platter. So it's not that your parents were doctors and they understand, or you got a running nursing home or you got a running practice. You have to start from the scratch. So number one, in terms of setting up your practice, to understanding and the odd timings that you get as a surgeon is not really understood. So that's slightly hard on you. But then The good part is because you're the first generation, you also get that tag as, okay, first generation doctor. So you also get that advantage in the sense that you get some accolades that, okay, he is my son, he's my first generation in being a doctor. So you also get an advantage in terms of appreciation. But yeah, in terms of practice, it becomes slightly hard.
You did your DNB, all right. At that time, DNB was just starting.
Oh, yes.
So weren't you scared taking up a new degree, I would say, without any kind of history behind that degree?
No, it wasn't all that new. It had started about 3-4 years back. And what I realized is, even at that point of time, if you see, people who were going abroad, right? MS actually was not recognized from most of the medical colleges. So people used to say either you are DNB, like for example, if you're applying for European degree or in UAE, right? So after I took I was planning to get my license in the UAE also. So they would recognize your degree if you were a DNB or MS from only 4 medical colleges: AIMS, PGI, CMC, and I think PGI Jipmer or PGI Lucknow. They were not recognizing MS from any other place. So DNB was actually superior to MS, and that's the reason why people were doing DNB after their MS, right? Because see, understand, MS, your professor teaches you for 3 years. You are under them. And then he examines you. So if he fails you, that means he's failing himself.
Yeah.
Right? I taught you and now you're no good. Right? Whereas in DNB, you studied somewhere else. You were examined by someone else. You examined at a third place in a different center by 4 different people who know nothing about you. So it's a real cross-sectional study. Like today, 30 years now, later, we are a DNB examination center. So when I take my examination, I tell these students, right, that it's different to pass an MS and it's different to pass a DNB. At our time, it was in percentile. I remember out of 40, when I gave when we appeared for the exam, we were told out of 40, 4 will pass. We will pass only 4. Top 4 will pass. So it was not that. So if you get 90% and there are 4 people who get 92, 93, 94, 95, you will not pass. Even though you got 90. So it was a top percentile that they would pass. They wanted to make it tough, and they really wanted to make it, something which has a standard. And even today, I would say that MS is a slightly easier exam to pass than DNB.
So DNB examiners are basically there to fail you.
No, I'm an examiner myself, so I'm not there to fail anyone. But I'm slightly strict for a simple reason. My logic is I will not let murderers and killers on the road. I will not. So if you do not know your basic anatomy, your basic examination, and you do not know how to approach a surgical patient, I will not pass you. I will not pass you. I am not interested to know if you know the procedure of a Whipple surgery. I'm not interested. I will not ask you steps of thyroidectomy. I'm not going to ask you details of APR or LAR or total colectomy. No. If you can examine the patient well, take a good history, know the anatomy well, surgical anatomy well, and you can reach to a surgical diagnosis, you've passed. So the difference is like when I tell them, once you are awarded your DNB, it doesn't make you a surgeon. It gives you a license to start learning surgery. So it's your learner's license. It is not your driver license. Even for the MS. 3 years is too small a time to become a surgeon. You pass to get a learner's license. Now you start learning your surgery. And that's how it should be. I mean, that's my belief. I may be wrong. Some people may think that I'm too harsh, but then surgery is a slow burn. It's a very slow burn.
So what would be your advice to the new JRs that these are the non-negotiable basic procedures you must know when you have qualified surgery?
Non-negotiable is number one. So I tell everyone. So we had about 60 odd medical students coming from different places. We have 4 DNB surgeries. We have 4 fellows post MS. We've got 2 post fellows, and 2 PhDs. So we teach from 0 to level 8. My teaching to them is very simple. Surgery is 50% anatomy. So if you know your anatomy, you've passed. It's 30% pathophysiology. If you can identify the disease, the pathophysiology and the causative, you've done close to about 80%. And 20% is fine art, right? It is fine arts that you want to come and learn from me. The art of surgery. If I have to start from surgery or anatomy, then you're in a wrong profession. So if you think that your anatomy is weak, don't become a surgeon. So your fundamentals are extremely important. And the sad part today, we don't have D halls nowadays. People don't even know Cunningham's. When these students come to me, I said, okay, did you read your Cunningham? They make a face, Cunningham's. What book is that? We've done BDC. I said, I mean, there's nothing against BDC. That's a BD Chorasya, that's an anatomy book. But somehow you must do beyond that, right? If you don't know your anatomy, you cannot do surgery. You simply cannot do surgery. So if you want to be a surgeon, do your surgical anatomy well, do your pathology and Robbins very well. There's another very good book called McGregor, Surgical Anatomy. Read that book, go to that book. That should be in your blood, right? And then you should think about being a surgeon.
So what else would be your advice to a JR1 joining surgery?
Number one, understand, do you want to be a king or do you want to be a pawn? Right. So I tell when medical college students come and say, sir, how do you choose? I said, see, it's like a chessboard. You've got pawns, you've got rookie, you've got, what do you call that? A king and a queen and a bishop, right? Now, the JR1 is like a pawn. They said, so, acha, yani ki hame balidan dena hai. Maine kaha, na. That is the difference between your thinking and my thinking. Now, the pawn, what is the biggest advantage? I said, the biggest advantage or biggest understanding of a pawn is not that you are the front line people. Yes, you are the front line people. But the biggest advantage is a pawn can become anything. You can keep moving forward and you can become a bishop. You can become a queen too. Of course, kings are born. Kings are born. You can't never become a king. However, you can become anything else on the chessboard. So the first year JR is you have the whole life in front of you. It's for you to make it. Because surgery is very easy. Surgery is the easy part. That's the very easy part. Doing a laparoscopic cholecystectomy or a hernia is very easy if you know your anatomy well. So that's my take for JR1s. Learn your anatomy, revise your anatomy, and do it repeatedly.
So what is the difference in teaching pattern between a DNB and an MS?
Let's take my institute, for example, right? Mine is a private institute. Now, most of the MS happens, I won't say most, but a large number of MS seats are usually in the medical colleges, right? So there is a hierarchy of the professor, associate professor, and two assistant professor and lecturers and blah. So they have a hierarchy, and that's how the teaching goes, and JR1, JR2, JR3. Whereas in our setup, right, we don't have that sort of a setup, right? We are consultant, senior consultant, principal consultant, directors, blah, 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 right? So teaching would be slightly different. Why? Because of, I would say, two reasons. Number one, in private setup, you're answerable, right? And I'm not saying that government people or government surgeons are not answerable. I'm not saying that. So I don't want people to think just because we're working in a government setup, we're not answerable to the patient. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we are answerable. I'm not saying you're not. So there's a difference. I mean, I don't want people to catch on my words and say, you said we are not. So I'm saying we are answerable to our patients because patient has come for a private setup. Number one. Number two, I have to operate if they come for me. Right?
True.
Plus, I need to see them post-operative also. So there is a sure line or a pathway that the patient follows. A pre-operative patient seen by me, intraoperatively seen by me, operated by me, post-op wound seen by me. It would be slightly different in a government setup. You go in a government setup, unit 1 sees, JR1 sees, sends it for surgery, JR2 operates, post-op seen by JR3. If a complication happens, probably seen by associate consultant. So there is no continuity of a surgical case. Whereas in our case, there is a lot of continuity of care and continuity of the problems, number one. Because of answerability, our protocols are slightly stricter, right? Also because of advantage of having advanced system. So we will have all advanced laparoscopy, we have 4Ks, we have 3Ds, we've got robotics, we've got the best of the robotics. So this, our students also are exposed to newer modalities of treatment. So that is an advantage. Like for example, my DNB2 second year does a laparoscopic cholecystectomy independently and will assist my post-MS fellow after 2 years. So my fellow who's a post-MS, 2 years already a senior resident, comes and sees my DNB second year doing a gallbladder. He says, we were never even taught about this. So that's the advantage that we give to our fellows. So that's one advantage. And of course, because in a private setup, we have access to almost all journals. We have a very good academic environment. We got, so that's advantage that we can give to our students.
But in your setup, does the JR actually get to operate on the
Oh,
patient
absolutely. Absolutely.
under your guidance?
Absolutely. I will assist them.
But a lot of times, was that, senior consultant, HODs, they tend to strike down so hard that the JR1, especially the JR1, they are so fed up with the toxicity and they tend to take the extreme actions also. So what about this structure?
I've heard about it. I believe that it is the insecurities of the top people which passes on to the insecurities of the lower one. That's a sad part. Secondly, I've also seen sometimes, like for example, when I say, just because I didn't have an AC when I was young, would it mean that I would give the same conditioning to my kids? We didn't have AC, we survived, so you should be able to do. No, today AC is a necessity, right? Just because I had a hardship, should I be punishing my JRs? Is it it's like because I was ragged, I should be ragging them. I think that's extremely rude, extremely rude, number one. Number two, all these kids are almost, they're younger than my kids. So when I take my JRs, I take them as my kids, right? My son is 28, my daughter is 25. So and these are all 18, 19-year-old, right? No, JR1 is not 18. They're about 20, but 20, 22.
Yeah.
So they are my daughter and son's age. So I always tell them, Baba, learn the basics nicely and see how you feel. See the smell of blood. See whether you really want to be a surgeon. Don't become a surgeon if your parents are forcing you. Just because your father has a nursing home and he's a surgeon and he wants you to become a surgeon, don't become a surgeon that, because then you will be doing first injustice to yourself. Don't do it. Surgery is like dedicating your life to be a king, right? Surgery is a cult. Surgery is a religion. So you're either a surgeon or you're a doctor. So understand that. Do you want to be a surgeon? Do you want to live in this cult and religion? If yes, be there.
So, boss, you are the best person to answer this question. How should a young surgeon basically go and negotiate their salaries in corporates?
Negotiating your salary. Now that's a very tough one. It's like, number one, you must know your worth. There is nothing called today like a standardization for a salary for surgeons. But the easy way is, number one, understand what all procedures can you do. What would be the average take home as a surgeon fee for a procedure? Now, let's try to break it into smaller pieces, just for a practical bit, right? Let's say you are a new surgeon and you do surgery. Let's say you can do gallbladders and hemorrhoids and hernias. The average would be, let's say, the fee would be about 20,000 odd in a smaller, medium-sized nursing homes and smaller-sized hospital. So if you do about, let's say, 10 cases, that would mean about 2 lakh. You could do another 5 or 10 cases here, that would mean about 2.5, 3 lakhs. The hospital will take about 20% share, you will get at 80%. So 80% of 8, 3 to 24 to 2.5. So if you are a beginner surgeon and you've done your residency and you can operate independently all these cases, then I think anything between 2.5, 270, 280 would be a right thing. Now, some people say that, okay, I am 8 years post-MS. Now, post MS, years don't matter to me, right? I mean, years don't matter. फिर तो ये बरगद का पेड़ 20 साल से यहाँ पर है, वो तो उसका सबसे बड़ा एक्सपीरियंस हो गया, बरगद के पेड़ को जाके थैंक यू बोलो. It's not the number of years. It's your experience and the ability and capability to handle cases independently. I would see someone who's just post MS or post DNB 1 year and can do independent good surgery. Vis-a-vis a few of my fellows who are post 7 years, 8 years, they still can't do a proper laparoscopic cholecystectomy. So number of years don't matter. Your competency level and your ability to be able to do it is important. That is number one. Number two, what type of setup are you going to? Are you going for a private setup? What is that private setup like? Is that setup catering mostly to Ayushman Bharat and CGHS, ECHS and panels, or a bigger corporate sector, right? So then your surgical fee would change, the billing details would change. Like for example, in a smaller nursing home, a gallbladder would be probably be done for 40,000 odd. Ayushman Bharat would be about 30,000 out, CGS would be about 30,000 out, right? The surgeon fee would be 7 to 8,000 bucks. So if you're going in a setup like that, right? And you say, मैंने 20 case कर लिए, right? But 20 की है, लेकिन fee तो 1.25 लाख ही आई ना. So someone is not going to pay you more in terms of the volume. But this turning into a mid-sized corporate hospital where the surgeon fee is almost twice as this much, you can do the same amount of work and ask for more, right? Vis-a-vis a tertiary care hospital wherein you can do more advanced procedures. You can also add probably robotics or bariatrics or anything to it, and your surgeon fee will go high. So your ask should be in accordance to the work that you think you can get. Please understand, it's a two-sided story, right? You asking something, why would a corporate give you? Let's take it from the other side, right? Why would a corporate give you money? Number one, because they will earn from you, because they also need to survive. They are also answerable to their investors, right? They also need to show their EBITDA. They also need to show work. So they have a percentage of manpower. So grossly, the easy way out, let's say you ask me कि यार मैं ना इतना काम करता हूँ, मैं कैसे उनसे negotiate करूँ? So anything between 18 to 20% is the manpower cost, right? So if I'm doing a 1 lakh business, right, about 18 lakh, 18,000, 20,000 is a good thing. Anything more than that is a win-win. Anything less than that, you're paid too little. So a ballpark figure, right, just for understanding, would be anything between 18 to 22% of the gross revenue. Then of course there is a net wherein the consumables are gone, and then you can go negotiate on up and down on that. But always remember, negotiation should be based on your ability and capability to not just work, but also create work. कि जी मैं तो FRCS करके FACS करके स्पेन से डिप्लोमा करके मिनिमल एक्सेस का करके ढेर सारे F लिख दिए, F ABCD F GH सारे F लिख दिए, मैं आके बैठ गया चौधरी की तरह. अब हॉस्पिटल का काम है पेशेंट लाना, हॉस्पिटल का काम पेशेंट लाना नहीं है. Of course they will have a marketing department and blah 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 blah, but it's also your endeavor, right? So unless you are geared up to create more work, right, the marriage won't last. कि बीवी खाना बनाएगी मैं तो रोज़ आके खाऊंगा, तो नहीं बनेगा ना भाई. एक दिन मैं बनाऊंगा, एक दिन तू बना, एक दिन दोनों मिलके बनाएंगे. You also create, I also create, so we both grow. So when the equation is we both grow as one unit, that is the time that marriage becomes successful. That is the time where the corporate and the surgeon, they do well and they grow together. Anyone trying to exploit the other, it doesn't grow. And दूसरी misconception बड़ी है लोगों को कि corporates आपको एक टारगेट देते हैं, कोई नहीं देता टारगेट. ये पता नहीं कहाँ से आ गया. I've seen some patients talking loosely, you know.
Every patient is talking about this.
Right? कि क्योंकि ये डॉक्टर्स ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन इसलिए दिया बिकॉज इनको कॉर्पोरेट्स वालों ने टारगेट दिए होंगे. रबिश. I've been in the corporate world for 30 years. I've been to all corporates. No one gives targets. Total rubbish.
ना junior most को ना senior most को.
Total rubbish. I have seen no corporates giving and coming to me and say इतना तो काम करना पड़ेगा. अगर वो दे रहे हैं तो कोई छोटी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर छोटा वाला होगा, सिंगल person-run show, smaller nursing home, wherein के doctor साहब we are giving you this thing, but इसमें ने काम नहीं किया, ये सब हो सकता होगा, probably in a very small setup. I've always worked in a bigger corporate. I don't think so. Anyone gives you a target. You can have your own targets. That's a different issue altogether, right? But given me a target, no, that doesn't happen. So I want everyone to think that corporates, even if we are working for a corporate, there are no targets.
कभी प्रेशर नहीं बनाया आप पे?
मेरे पे तो इसलिए भी नहीं, because see, I'm fee for service. I'm not on a situation wherein I take an X amount of money, right? But there have been times that I was on an MG, but no one ever talked to me. Never ever. One of the reasons I always crossed it, right? I always crossed it. But in spite of that, I had best of the administrators. I worked with good administrators. We've never talked about targets. Or
Why are patients feeling this thing कि doctors are over prescribing medicine, over prescribing tests?
इन पेशेंट्स को ना यूएस और कनाडा जाके रहना चाहिए थोड़ी दिन के लिए. उनको तब समझ में आएगी डॉक्टर्स की वैल्यू. यहाँ प्रॉब्लम क्या है यार, मैं एक पेशेंट देख रहा हूँ, देख लीजिए. Head of the department goes there and sees the patient in the ICU and finished, right? My daughter, she had to get an ultrasound in Toronto, right? There was a changeover of the insurance. Do you know how much she paid for an ultrasound?
No.
47,000.
Yeah.
47,000 for an ultrasound.
In rupees, right?
Yes. 47,000 rupees for an ultrasound. यहाँ पर 3,000 में होता है, पेशेंट तब भी गाली देते हैं, राइट? यहाँ पर CGHS पेशेंट को 350 देने पड़ते हैं, फिर भी आके दे थिंक दैट बहुत कुछ कर रहे हैं. वहाँ पर यू हैव अ वेटिंग, राइट? यू कांट इवन सी योर सर्जन देयर. इफ यू आर इन इमरजेंसी, एटलीस्ट 6-7-8 आवर्स तो रुकना होता है. यहाँ पेशेंट्स आर, हमें 15 मिनट हो गए, 20 मिनट हो गए. पेशेंट्स आर ऑलवेज इन अ हरी. दे आर रेडी टू स्पेंड 3,000 फॉर अ हेयर कट. दे आर रेडी टू पे 10,000 फॉर दैट रीबॉन्डिंग, और वो जो कलर करा लेते हैं ना, मैं भूल जाता हूँ उसको कुछ कहते हैं. दे आर रेडी फॉर दैट. बट अगर डॉक्टर को देना पड़ जाए, ओ माय गॉड, इट्स सो एक्सपेंसिव, राइट? दे आर रेडी टू पे अ 500 टिप in front of other people when they go to a 7-star. But to doctors, no. So the culture is such. So I tell all these people, please go outside and live. Then you will understand the value of a doctor. How easy the medical care is in India. And hats off to even government for that matter. Even government is working very well. And I'm not talking about only one government. All the governments who've been working. They've been working well. Healthcare is still largely better than a lot of developed countries. A lot of developed countries. Is it the best? No. So is there a scope for change? Yes. Can we be better? Absolutely. But we are still a lot of better from many other countries.
So if you let's suppose you become the Prime Minister of India for the day, what are the changes that you would get in our healthcare system?
Number one, I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to be in that position. I don't think so. I am rightful frame of mind to be even leading something. If I can lead my team only nicely, I'll be happy. So I'm not the right person to lead that. If I could say and I could request someone to change a few things, I would say that please be kind to doctors, right? Violence against doctor is not acceptable, right? Strangely, during holidays and during match, a 5-star can charge 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 for a room. A doctor can't charge 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, right? Why? During emergencies, the airlines will go up their cost. A doctor can't. A lawyer can charge for the presence in the court 5 lakh, 10 lakh. A doctor can't. People will pay. A doctor can't, right? There was an ad for in one of the states as a consultant with evening practice allowed, salary of 40,000. 40,000 for a doctor. So please be kind to us. And it's time that a healthy country will do better than an unhealthy country. So violence against doctors, number one. And not having the right pay grades is not a great idea. The other thing is the nurses. They should be paid well. They are the one who takes the maximum amount of brunt. They're cleaning you, they're giving you food, they're doing everything. And how much do they earn? Peanuts. I see a lot of young girls, like daughters and kids from down south, from eastern states, barely trying to make the 2 ends meet. They work for 8 hours, 9 hours on their toes, but they're not paid enough. Sometimes I believe that, I know that my driver earns much more than the nurse working there. She's a qualified nurse. So my other request would be, primarily to the corporate world, is pay these nurses well. They are the one who's the core and the backbone. So that's what my two thing is.
Do you think healthcare insurance should be mandatory for all?
Oh yes, absolutely. And the third thing, yes, good that you did. This tanashai of insurance people should be stopped.
Absolutely.
Right? Who are there to recently? Right? I was to operate on a patient. I think it was HGFC. They said we will not pay for robotic. I said why? Who are you to dictate what procedure should be done? This patient had a policy of almost 1 year. Right? I am offering the robotic which is best. Who are you to say we will not pay for robotic and we will pay only for laparoscopy? You are no one to dictate. So this dictation by the insurance company that we will not pay for this, we will not pay for this, we will pay only X amount for the meshes, we will pay only X. Why should that happen? Insurance should be comprehensive. It is not comprehensive. When they have increased their rate of premium in the last 5 years, they are no one to decide what treatment to be given. They have no say. Right? I have taken an insurance, I will choose and my surgeon will choose. If my eye surgeon tells me that this is the lens that I would want to put in your, or my orthopedic surgeon says this is the plate that I would want, there are no one to say that we're not going to pay this. So this has to stop. So I would request the top body IRDA to get into this, and this insurance scam which is happening should be stopped.
So many complaints I've seen on Twitter, especially they went to the hospital and then they realized the insurance doesn't cover this, insurance doesn't cover that.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when my wife was operated, do you know they deducted for what? ET tube. I said endotracheal tube is a part of the surgery. They said, no, this is a consumable, we will not pay for that. I said, seriously? So you will not pay part of the consumable which is used for surgery? Well, of course, I took them to task, but understand it from a common man, from a middle class family. He would not even know how to fight it out. So I think insurance, once, yes. At the same time, should there be a check on all the corporates? Yes. It should not be that corporates start adding anything. So it's a double-edged sword. Insurance should pay, but at the same time, there should absolutely be check on the consumables and the instrumentations, everything to be used. It can't be that they start putting anything and everything. So there has to be a balance between the two, but largely, I think insurance should be under some amount of lens.
Was for a doctor, should they go for the MG model with the corporates or should they do a revenue share?
If you think that you have your own patient base and client and you think that you can generate beyond revenue share, if you think you will take some time to generate that practice base, go on an MG. Because that way you are not at least worked up every day, कि आज case नहीं हुआ, आज case नहीं हुआ. Right? You can focus on building a practice. And that is the logic of this MG. Actually, this is how it started. Right? Earlier there was no MGs. I mean, talking 2000, 2001, there was nothing called an MG. Right? There were salaries. Then this model came wherein the corporates helped people to build up their practice. And while that practice was being built, they were supporting. So it used to be, okay, we'll give you X amount, then it is 25% of the X, 50% of the X, and after 3 years there's no MG, then you. So corporate helped these people to create a practice model for them. So that was a brilliant thing. Today some people are not used to it, right? So so if you are a newbie, you know your subject well, you think you can practice well, and you need some time to set up yourself. Go on an MG. If you think that you set up, you need a place and you need support, a tertiary care support, then probably you can be on a revenue share.
If I talk about the salary structure, and this is the most important question of our podcast, all right. So what is the salary structure of a bariatric surgeon? All right. Immediately after his MS or fellowship, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line?
So there's no salary structure. You can't have a salary structure to a surgeon. The reason why I'm saying is, number one, there is nothing called a salary structure to a bariatric surgeon. It all depends, as I said. So there is nothing called a bariatric, there is no super specialization called bariatric surgery, right? It's part of a GI surgery. So let's say I was trained. I've also been trained abroad. I've been doing it. I've been doing it 20 years. And I have thousands of patients under me and we've done well, right? So today, let's say a corporate reaches out to me and say, we want you in, right? I don't think so. they can offer me something which would be lucrative for me. Number one, because you said bariatric. So somebody trying to sustain themselves purely on bariatrics may not be the best. Why? Because you also need a team. So what my suggestion would be to all the newbies who are wanting to become, probably do bariatric as a career, don't do exclusive bariatric as your career. Right? Newer methodologies and newer technologies like intragastric balloon, the newer drugs and newer sleeves and genetic manipulations will come over a period of time. So surgery is not going to die. Surgery is here to stay. So some people say with these newer drugs, surgery is going to die. No, it's not going to die. It's going to be there. But would you be able to sustain yourself just by doing bariatric? Probably no. So don't leave all your surgical specialties and do purely bariatrics. Continue doing your GI work and also specialize interest in bariatrics. Make a team. Don't work alone. Never work alone. Make a team. Initially, it may pinch you to share your surgeon fee with your fellow, but work in a team. It's if you have to go along, have a group with you.
So if you want to open up your own private practice, maybe a bariatric surgery center or something, how much do you think the investment will cost?
If you ask me, would you want to open a new center for bariatric? I would say no. There is a lot of paraphernalia attached to a center, right? It's not that you can open a small center with 5 beds and just do bariatrics, right? First of all, you will not be able to sustain yourself because the infrastructure cost will kill you. You still need to have the same staffing, right? Then you need an endoscopy suite because you need to do endoscopy before doing this thing. You can't send the patient out and then say, okay, yahan kara lete. You need to have a CT because post-operatively there's a leak or something. You need to have a CT. You need to have a blood bank. God forbid there's a bleed. So you need to first cover all the areas where complications can happen and cover them up. That becomes expensive to have a blood bank, to have a CT, to have a radiology, a gastro department. So just trying to, the revenue that you're going to be able to create just by doing bariatric center would not be worth it. So you can have a surgical center, right, wherein bariatric would be part of it, right? But just opening a bariatric center, I don't think so it's going to be financially viable. That's my take. Maybe people will do it, but been in this practice for some time now, I think it's not a good thing to do.
So it's like you have been in a corporate, you have worked as a surgeon. So now let's talk about surgery as general surgeon who has done maybe a fellowship. All right. What is the average salary packages post MS 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line for a general surgeon?
So I will take the median group, right? There are extremes of everything.
Let's take
there
the
are
median
extremes,
one,
right?
yes.
So post MS, I think for your senior residency, anything between 1.7 to 2 lakhs per month. For post 3 years, when you're taking as a junior consultant, because the junior consultant usually should be about 5 years post MS. So that is a time of, after doing senior residency, your 3 years are finished. You're not a junior consultant because you're not 5 years yet. So that area of a junior or an associate is a very odd time where you should do your fellowship and everything. That is the time probably you will earn anything between 2.5. Post that, once you become an associate, then it should be close to about 3-ish. Once you become a senior, then it should be close to about 4-ish. And post that, depending on how much you can add to the pool practice, there is no end to it. So usually, I say that usually people get into a situation wherein if you are confident about adding to the pool, you should be in a share model. If you think that I'm a good worker, but I'm not a fish catcher, right? Then people would be happy in a salary model. So that's how it should be. At a senior consultant level, it should be. It could be anything between 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But anyone who's paying you 10, remember, needs X amount of revenue from you.
1 crore तो कमाना है मोटा मोटा.
Minimum. अगर नहीं कमाओगे तो कब तक खिलाएगा कोई बिठा के आपको यार? 1 दिन, 1 महीना, 2 महीना, 4 महीने, 6 महीना. अब इसके दोनों तरीके हैं. ऐसे सर्जन भी होते हैं जो पहले इसको बेवकूफ़ बना के यहाँ से ले लेते हैं, फिर 2 साल में जब उनको यहाँ से निकाला है तो दूसरी जगह वहाँ से पैसे ले लेते हैं. बट नाउ दैट largely that era is gone. Now people will do a background check. Most of the corporates will do the marketing team and the HR team will do a background check. What is the type of practice and blah 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 blah. So I think it really doesn't work too well that way. So you can't really fool ke I've been doing this and you can fool the corporate. You can't.
Okay, I'll ask you a weird question here. Do you know surgeons who earn up to like 1 CR a month?
Of course.
Easy है.
बहुत आसान है.
क्या तरीका बताओ?
Do more work. Do ethical work. God will give you. So, number one, your target should not be 1 CR a month. Your target should be doing good work. Money will follow. Money will always follow. The problem is we make target as money and then we try to create. Now, when your target is money, the chances of doing an unnecessary procedure may lurk in your brain once in a while. And I'm not saying that it will. I'm saying may lurk once in a while. But when you're doing a good work, right, money will follow, no? Why won't money follow? Right? 1 CR is not a big amount today in the corporate world. It is not. For especially people who are doing big ticket surgeries, I would say, right? Like transplants. These are big ticket surgeries. So yeah, I know not a couple. I know a few of many of couples of surgeons who will be doing more than that.
Well, possible है.
नहीं करते हैं. बहुत आसान है.
So I'm actually showcasing this to the audience that what we think as something which is impossible is actually happening.
However, having said that, there is another thing that you should know, because this will be watched by a few patients too, a few people too. So they will think, अच्छा unnecessary surgery करें पैसे कमाने के लिए. वो true नहीं है. Number two, a big myth is हमने हमारा 20 लाख का बिल आ गया. तो सर आपको तो मोटे पैसे मिल गए होंगे. Total wrong. The surgeon fee in that 20 lakh would probably be 40,000-50,000 bucks, 70,000 bucks. So that 20 lakh doesn't come to us. So this is a big misnomer in a common man. Sir, 10 lakhs दिए थे, आपको 7-8 तो मिल ही गए होंगे. अगर सर्जन को 7-8 मिल रहे होते ना, सर्जन कुछ और होता.
हेलीकॉप्टर में आ रहे होते.
हेलीकॉप्टर में आ रहे होते. So there's a lot of, and you know what? It's the land cost. So I'm not blaming the corporates. Corporate ने land लिया, उनकी land cost है, उनका infrastructure cost है, उनकी बिजली चल रही है, security है, safety है, nursing head है, waste है, biomedical waste है. There is so much of things that they are also investing in. Plus the investor who's invested, उसको भी तो पैसे सेठ जी को दुगने तो करने ही है ना, फिर दुगने नहीं करने ज़्यादा करने हैं. तो सेठ जी ने भी तो कुछ बनाना है. But having said that, because of the corporate culture, today we get newer technology. Better technology for the patients. And patients should also understand that it's not just, some people say they are fleecing us. No, they are not fleecing. You haven't been to Europe. You haven't been to Europe. You haven't been to the so-called developed countries. You go there and then you will see what is called fleecing.
Very true.
Right? Here you are getting something dirt cheap. Right? So you should have that in your mind. So you are getting good service at almost zero cost.
What's the field of surgery and AI? How do you think this collab will happen?
So instrumentation will help. The AI will come in instrumentations. Not कोई ऐसी कोई मशीन नहीं आने वाली कि मेरे दिमाग में लग गई और मैं बोलूँगा भाई साहब ये diagnosis appendicitis ही है. AI क्या होगा? Like the Da Vinci robot, the DB5 which is coming up. It is and the other DB also is already AI enabled. That means so when we are using staplers, right? It senses the tissues and says this stapler is probably wrong for this tissue height. You need more compression, that it will compress for more. So AI, which is intelligence learning, from the previous surgeries, the computer learned that this energy is rightful for this tissue. This compression is rightful for this tissue. This cutting strength is rightful. So AI is already getting embedded. But does it mean that there will be autonomous robots doing surgeries from wherever and wherever? Never say never. Maybe yes, one day. In my lifetime, probably no. But yes, we would see some amount of autonomous surgeries happening. Once that learning has reached to a level wherein it has to reach, it will take some time. But yes, the world is changing fast. And but this whole thing of AI is also counterproductive sometimes. People are relying so much on AI that the human values is going down. The human system is going down. The newer surgeons believe so much on CTs and ultrasound that the clinical sense is going to zero.
True.
Right? So AI is good. It's yet another tool, but you still need to do it. So I say it's like gardening. You need to go and touch and feel those plants. मेरे पास सबसे अच्छी कैंची है या सबसे अच्छी खुरपी है doesn't make me a good gardener. It's a tool to reach to your plants. I can have the best of the dog food and the best leash for my dog. But what the dog needs is my care, my love, my attention. So technology is important. It will help you reach there. But if you don't have that touch and feel, so my saying to everyone is the patient doesn't care how much you know. He only knows how much you care. So if you are lacking in knowledge, number one, because the eyes won't see what the mind doesn't know, you have no compassion, you are in the wrong place.
Plus, people judge doctors who are earning well in their life. Have you ever felt judged by patients or non-medicos?
Yeah, always. People don't realize ये एक अकेला डॉक्टर था जो स्कूटर पे चलता था, टूटा सा हेलमेट होता था ब्लू कलर का, गंगाराम जाता था, अकेला में होता था, सबके पास कार होती थी, मेरे पास स्कूटर होता था, मैं टेक्नीशियंस वाली जगह पे जाके खड़ा करता था, स्कूटर वहीं रखता था, बरसात में जाता था. मेरे पास समटाइम्स मुझे याद है आज भी एक अर्चना थिएटर है, कौन सा है जहाँ पर वो एक आई थिंक अर्चना थिएटर, वहाँ पर एक गन्ने वाला होता था. मेरे पास 10 रुपये पूरे नहीं होते थे कि गन्ने का जूस, हमारे टाइम में ना 5 रुपये 10 रुपये के गन्ने का जूस मिलता था, राइट. सो मैं कभी सोचता था आज 5 का पी लूँगा, कल 10 का पी लूँगा, या आज 2 बार 5 का पी लूँगा. सो आई हैव सीन दोज डेज, आई हैव सीन दोज डेज इन माई लाइफ टाइम. आई हैव वर्कड हार्ड. Yes, God rewarded me. There are many people who work hard, right? I'm the chosen one. And that's one of the reasons why I said people should be jealous of me, because I'm the chosen one. God chose me, my parents blessed me, my teachers taught me. So this deadly combination, everyone doesn't get. I got this, right? I got teachers who were like out of the world, right? So I did hard work, yes, I did. But there are very many surgeons who do hard work today. But again, God chose me. And my parents blessed me. So I always had that advantage, I would say. I worked hard. Today, people see my success. Some people say, red paint kyun lagate ho? And I said, my daughter was putting a nail paint. I said, main laga lu. She said yes. So there's nothing behind it. There's no totka. It's just that it reminds me of my daughter. She's not with me. She's studying abroad. And so if I have a bigger car today, people say, भैया note कमा रहे हो इसलिए बड़ी car है, right? My ideology is different. I want to live life king size today also. So probably I have half of my things today on loan, but I'm happy. I mean, if at 90 I can afford a Ferrari, what will I do with that Ferrari? I would rather take loan today, buy a Ferrari, enjoy my Ferrari today, and pay off the loan when I'm 90. So I live my life the way I need to. And yes, people do question me at times. And the most important part is I'm not answerable to no one except my own self. Have I been honest to myself? Yes. Have I been truthful to myself? Yes. Have I cheated anyone? No. Is it hard work? Yes. But yes, I'm the chosen one.
Boss, agar aapko aaj, this question is for the audience and from the audience also. Like, if you have to, put a number to all the surgical super specialties from the most potential to the least one, how will you list them down?
So, difficult, yet I will try. And number one, I would say surgical specialties we're talking about. So I will say probably urology. Why would I say urology? Because all men beyond 90 will have a BPH. So all men will need BPH surgery. All will have UTI, all will have nephrology, and the chances of cancers are increasing over a period of time with their exposure to drugs and carcinogens and blah, blah. So probably urology. And number two, I would say GI and onco, because again, we see a lot of GI and onco and cancers increasing. So people will need GI and onco surgeries. Number three, I would say neuro. And neuro, because now neuro in terms of brain and spine has segregated. So some people after MCH of neurosurgery would only do spine, will only do this. Ortho is a separate branch, so we're not touching that. And we're talking pure of surgery. Then beyond that would come CTVS. And CTVS, I know earlier it used to be, मेरे को cardiothoracic surgeon बनना है. Earlier it used to be glamour. And now because, largely दवाई खा गया ज़्यादा चीज़ों को, फिर intervention cardiology खा गया. So it's only like valvular diseases or tumors or a triple vessel disease that you will really need cardiac surgeons for. So a large number of that is been eaten up by intervention. And then I would say probably we've done neuro, we've done CTVS. Vascular surgery is a very good branch, especially endovascular surgery is another good branch that people can do, and they have a lot of scopes now. So I think we've covered almost everything. GI हो गया, onco हो गया, uro हो गया, neuro हो गया, cardiothoracic हो गया, ये हो गया. Bas, I think these are the branches that we have.
So thank you so much, boss. But the podcast doesn't come to an end right now. We still have some rapid fire questions for you. बहुत simple, 2 rules: super truthful, super spontaneous. Ready up?
हाँ जी बिल्कुल.
Perfect. Sir, what do you usually think about when you're stuck in traffic?
I think, oh my God, I get pissed off. I also abuse me, not abuse, but I abuse the government that time. Why can't you make better roads?
इतना टैक्स ले रहे हो.
इतना टैक्स ले रहे हो यार. And the problem is, you know what? You're not wearing a seat belt, you're giving a चालान. एक ऑटो वाला 2 आगे बिठा के 4 पीछे बिठा के चल रहा है, उसका कोई चालान नहीं है. फुटपाथ पे सारी पान बीड़ी की दुकान लगी हुई, उसका उनका कोई चालान नहीं है. मेरे सीट बेल्ट पे मेरा चालान है. क्यों भाई? Well, I know, I mean, but should I not wear a seat belt? I should.
Yeah.
But it's just a way of, you know, I would say projection. अपनी गलती दूसरों पे डाल दो. तो मैं अपनी गलती करता हूँ फिर दूसरों पे डालता हूँ, वो भी तो गलती कर रहा है. Rather than thinking कि पहले अपनी गलती सुधार लो.
What would you rather have? A timely, steady income or one income at एक ही बार में?
I think दोनों अच्छे हैं. Steady हो, बीच बीच में ज़्यादा आती रहे. Steady इसलिए because it gives you a mindset and free hand to do and chase your dreams, a few of the dreams like music or traveling and blah 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 blah. And once in a while when you can get probably bigger ones, so you can do a better traveling and a better musical instrument and so forth. So regular with
music का बहुत शौक है आपको.
yeah,
What's the instrument that you play?
I play about 20 odd instruments. So you name the instrument and I play that.
अरे sir.
So I play the saxophone, the piano, the drums, the congo, chongo, motagun, accordion.
Saxophone तो आपको सूट भी करता है. I love your mustache. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. Saxophone, yes, that's closest to my heart.
Yeah.
And I just love playing the saxophone. But yeah, drums, piano, everything.
I would love to hear you once.
Oh, anytime, come over. I have all the instrument at home.
Yeah.
And if I'm that's the reason. That's what I said. So if I'm not in the hospital, then I'm either in the gym, or I'm playing some music. There's no third place that I am. So hospital, music, gym. My 3 passions.
And how much do you gym daily?
I used to go every day. Used to. Now I've become slightly lazy. I'm getting old, and lazy too. And so 3-4 times a week probably. I've lost a lot of weight. I think in the last 2 months there was some under construction happening. My dad wasn't feeling too well, and blah blah. A few things here and there. So I've not been very regular, but yeah, I try at least 5 times a week.
Yeah, you look very fit, yeah.
No, I was fitter. I'm weak right now. I would say I'm 30% down. If you would have seen me 3 months back,
Yeah.
I was much fuller and bigger.
So what's the happiest moment in your life?
When I'm talking to my daughter and my son.
Great, boss. Thank you so much for having such an insightful discussion with me.
Thank you so much for getting me here. And I'm really happy. I just hope we were able to give some food of thought and some food for thought for the beginners. And just my last take is, remember this body is made by God. Believe in that. Do something that you will do to your family. Don't touch a patient as a patient. They're not source of your income. There are people who've come to you because they're unwell. So touch them with passion and compassion. And ABCs of practice, again, A is availability, be available for practice. B is your behavior, be kind to them. And C is compassion. So this is the ABC of practice. For all new surgeons, remember these ABC. God bless you. And if you need me to help you anytime, you can approach me. I'm always open for suggestions.
Thank you so much, boss.
Take care. And thank you so much once again.
And thank you so much everyone for watching today's show. I believe Sir has given a very good insight about corporate life, how a surgeon navigates through it, how they have to negotiate their salaries. That's a very important part, and what corporate world is really like. Thank you so much, and as always, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much, and God bless you.